You're listening to another episode of the Ask Swenk Show. I'm excited you are here today. I have an amazing question from Geoff. Now, I'm going to warn you right off the bat, it's kind of rather long, but I really need to read all of it just so you have the context behind it, and then I'll go over a solution of what you can actually do. But it's all around how can you ensure that you keep getting repeat business.
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions. And this is Ask Swenk.
So let's go ahead and get into it. Geoff asked, how do we ensure that your clients come back for repeat business? In my content management business, we start new clients off on a trial project followed by 1 month content. If they like all of that, then, and about 90% do, we set them up with an arrangement where they order content from us every month. I like that. I like the foot in the door, but we'll get into it. We've experimented a lot with different writing services, blogs, landing pages, sales, emails, product descriptions, the list goes on. Services that people come back month after month is blog posts. There's a constant need for content, and this is a market we get a lot of repeat business from. The problem is I'm having right now is the clients are very sluggish when it comes to reordering content at the beginning of the new month. Our process involves them coming up with a blog post titles, sending them to us so I can schedule the article with our writing staff. So I'm not sure what I can do about this. There must be something I can change to make it easier for the clients and myself to schedule content for us. How do we turn our one-off customers into repeat business? Whew, wow, that was a long question. So a couple things that you really need to look at, Geoff, and I think a lot of you actually need to look at is when you look at the different types of agencies out there, right? You have about 5 different agency types. One that I think you're falling into is the hands-on, right? You're going to roll up the sleeves and you're actually going to go do the work. The problem is with this, a lot of people are actually doing this. And it's looked at as a commodity, especially in content writing these days, even though I know the big difference between really good content writing. I'm married to one, and hopefully you guys think I'm a good content writer, but I know the difference between really good content and just okay, right? Of just writing it. Now, the next level up from kind of the hands-on is kind of like that central hub, right? And that's the type of agency that is doing some of the hands-on work, but then they're also kind of pulling the strings on a couple other little things, right? It's kind of almost like the project manager within, they're managing multiple things. Then you got the next level up is kind of, and this is what a good friend of mine, Jamie Turner, I interviewed him on this. I'll link into the show to this podcast, but he talks about kind of like the light bulb, right? This is the type of agency that's coming up with ideas, like the innovative ideas that you can actually go do, right? Then there's the next level up that is kind of the wisdom and experience agents. Now, this is kind of combining the innovative, like the light bulb agency is the ones that are like jumping onto Snapchat right away and be like, you need to do this, or jumping onto VR and actually doing this right away. But they really don't have that wisdom or that experience to back up the results. So the next level up is kind of that wisdom and experience, right? They've been there, they've done it, they've proven the model, it actually worked, and they can actually take them through. And then the last part, and this is what everybody's trying to get to, is kind of the black box, right? This is what everybody's aiming for, and this is something that the client can't live without, right? This is like the heart of everything that they're doing in their marketing, and it's just beating, right? And you're trying to get to it. Now, when you also think about, and it's important to realize this as well, is think about on the consulting basis, right? The consulting firms. Now, I came from Arthur Andersen, right? The big consulting firm, not the paper shredding or the accounting. I was on the business side. But they actually started breaching into the agency space a number of different years ago and actually start doing website and services and digital services and all of that. And they came from more of a power of authority, right? They were kind of the black box, or they were kind of the wisdom and experience where they had the insight and the knowledge and the data to back them up, and they can actually do it. So think about where I'm getting at is you want to get to a point where you're not just looked at as writing copy and writing blog posts. That's a commodity, okay? You want to get looked at as kind of a consulting agency or some kind of solution that you're giving them strategy on what to do, not just on content writing, but on what they actually want. So if you start thinking about why do they want you to write their blog posts? Why are they producing content? Well, it's to grow their business. And start really looking at that and then providing them strategy in order for them to do that rather than just writing copy. Because when you actually, like when we were just designing websites, sure, we were a commodity and then we were just looked at for that. But then when we actually started providing strategy, right, now we could pull the strings. Now we controlled a lot. We controlled the money. We controlled who entered our kingdom, right? And then we could boot out whoever was not in our kingdom as well. And that's so important for you guys in order to think about, building. It's I watched this really cool thing of Becoming Warren Buffett on Netflix. I think you all should check it out. And he talked about the businesses that he invests in and buys are businesses that have moats, right? And so if you think, and meaning like you have a really good night and you have good security around you, that it's harder for someone to break into your business and to take over your kingdom, right? And so if you looked at what you're doing now, you don't really have a moat. I mean, literally, you don't even have a wall. And people can just like, yeah, I can write copy and I'll do that for this, and then you kind of lose them, right? So it's hard to get the repeat business. But if you start looking at your business of how can I create a moat? How can I make it more of a solution, or I'm controlling the strategy and providing them more strategy for something they ultimately want, then I think you can do a really kick butt job and go from there. All right? So great question, Geoff. Now, if you like this episode, you're going to love the Agency Playbook. And if you haven't checked out the Agency Playbook, what's wrong with you? I need to strangle you. Come through the screen or the earbuds that you're listening to me on. Go check it out. Right? So we just relaunched the new version of the Agency Playbook. It's entirely new. It's for people that have been around for a while that are just struggling and trying to figure out what to do next, from hiring to firing to what do I need to be charging? How do I become this black box agency? How do I find these deals and stop relying on word of mouth? How do I manage? How do I become the agency CEO versus agency owner doing everything? And I highly strongly suggest you actually check it out. So it's jasonswank.com/playbook. So I will chat with you soon. If you like this, share it out. Chat with you later. Have a swank day. I want you to join the conversation. Make sure you comment and subscribe. Thanks for giving me your most valuable asset, your time.